Still continue on with factoring. We have to factor this expression, so we need to split up your first term, find two numbers that multiply to be 24, but add to be negative 10, and you should get your factors of x minus 4 and x minus 6. So today we're going to factor when we have a number greater than 1 out front of your x squared term, so our a term. We have a couple different ways. The two ways I'm going to show you are MSG or use the box method. For MSG, you multiply A and C, split B, and group. So the first one I'm going to use by doing MSG. You multiply A times C, which is 30. And then we need to find two numbers that multiply to be 30 but add to be negative 17, which are negative 2 and negative 15. And that is how we split up our b. So when we do that, we're splitting up our b terms. So we have 5x squared minus 15x minus 2x and plus 6. So if you notice, if we combined our two x terms in the middle and combine them together, we'd still get negative 17x. We wanted to make this into 4 terms, so we can then move on to grouping, which you group your first two terms and group your last two terms. Then you look at your first group. You look to find the greatest common factor. So what number divides 5 and 15 and get an even number, which would be 5. And then they both have an x, so we'll have an x. And then we're left with x minus 3 inside our parentheses. Next, look at our group here, negative 2x and plus 6. We can take out a negative 2. And we're left with x minus 3 in our parentheses after we take out our greatest common factor. Now if you notice, both of our parentheses are the same. This is what our goal was. So to make our two parentheses, your first one, you take your numbers out front of your common parenthesis and make that into 1. And then take your common parenthesis and bring one of them down. So we have x minus 3. And that is your factored form of that quadratic equation there. 5x minus 2 and x minus 3. Another method I would like to show you is the box method. So if you don't like MSG, you can choose the box method, meaning you draw a box with 4 spots in it. Your first term always goes in the first box, and your last term goes in the box, in the last box. And we still have to find two numbers. When we multiply 6 and negative 6 to get 36, but add to be 5, which are 9 and negative 4. So we'll put those in the boxes there, but you have to put an n with them. So we have 9n and negative 4n. And then we look at our rows and our columns to find our greatest common factor. Looking at the first column here, both those numbers can be divided by 3, and they both have an n, so our GCF is 3n. Looking down here, we have negative 4 and negative 6, so our greatest common factor is negative 2. Looking at our column here, we'll have 2, and they both have an n. And then this one will be 3. Now that we have done this, this forms our two parentheses. You just take your numbers on the outside, your greatest common factors, and make them into parentheses. So we have 2n plus 3 from the top, and 3n minus 2 along the side. And that is your factored form. So again, the box method and MSG are the same concept. It just depends on if you want to write it all out or do it in the box. So go ahead and do B. My suggestion would be to not have to do those large of numbers. Find your greatest common factor and do it that way. When you factor this out, after doing MSG or the box method, you should get 4b plus 20 and 4b minus 5. And again, go ahead and try this one. Use the box method or MSG, whichever you prefer. And when you factor it out, you should get 3x minus 1 and x plus 7. And we'll be working on that in class tomorrow.